Today with Smart TV, we are very excited to have you all on with us today. Today we're going to talk about Pinterest advertising. How can you use Pinterest to help advertise and grow your business? This is one of those social networks that really has a lot of potential and a tremendous opportunity for businesses, but I don't think businesses are really capitalizing on Pinterest. So we'll probably do some other videos about Pinterest as well. If you have questions about how you can use Pinterest for your business, let us know. We will be talking about some of those things today. We'll probably make another video as well about Pinterest. Just because when we go out and we do a competitive analysis for all of our businesses that hire us to do their social media, and a part of that competitive analysis, of course, is checking up on social media sites for their competitors. What are their competitors doing on social media? Are they successful? Are they doing a good job? Are they not doing a good job? What's going on? So that gives us some ideas of how can we leverage things for our customers. And so, you got any B2B cases? Yeah, you have a specific industry that you're thinking of? Let us know. The big thing with Pinterest is we find that just not a lot of businesses use it. They're not using it very effectively. I mean, if you tech and IT, yeah, so a couple things on tech and IT as far as Pinterest goes. There's a couple things to realize about Pinterest. It is about, I think it's still around 85% female. It is the #1 window shopping site in the world. So if you have a product, you definitely need to be on there. Even if you have a service, you definitely need to be on there. So even tech and IT, there is a ton of information on Pinterest about technology. There's lots of infographics. There's a lot of opportunities of things you can do there, especially if you want to attract female business owners and female coders and other people in as well. There's a lot you can do. How's the targeting? Thanks for asking that. We really appreciate that. We're going to be talking about that, in fact, today. So when you get a Pinterest account, there's Pinterest personal accounts and business accounts. So make sure you get a business account. So when you get those in, I'll show you, there's a website. If you have a Pinterest account, here's the website. It's ads.pinterest.com. So when you go into the Pinterest website, you'll be able to see this. Sorry, we're getting some reflection from the windows behind us here. You'll be able to jump in and see your ads and see what's going on those, okay? So this is the main dashboard that we'll pull up, and you'll be able to go in and look up your ads and see how things are working on Pinterest. Now, when you come in and do this, there's different types of ads that you can run on Pinterest. So we're going to talk about that in just a minute. We had a question come up as well again about targeting. So let's talk about some of the targeting options that you can do. There's a couple things that can be done to help you in targeting your ads on Facebook. So one of the things that you can do is load up an email list. If you have a customer list of people that have been to your site, in fact, let me see if I can pull this up. In here, we're going to do it, there's custom audiences basically inside here, inside the Pinterest system. So let's go into audiences. So if you click, if you tap up here on ads, there's a drop down that'll appear. You'll be able to see this type of a window appear here. And so if you hit create audience, it is going to come in here and ask you some questions. So when you come in here and look, visitors who went to your site, you can do domains, visitors who went to your site, a list of customers that you upload, an engagement audience. So these are people that have engaged with your pins. You have some information from them. You can create a custom audience with that, as well as what's called an act-alike audience, which is basically just a look-alike audience. It's taken the audience and go after similar people. Can you report by that? Yeah, inside your ads, you can actually check and see what's going on. So when you go in there, when you go in to build your custom audience, it'll ask you some questions to help you with your domain so that you know what's going on with those. You can advertise and target people based on those domains. So that's a really good thing to look at. Thanks for those great questions, by the way. If you have other questions, let us know. ABM marketing. Remind me quickly what ABM marketing is and see if I can help you answer some of those. There is conversion tracking. You can do some conversion tracking in here. So what that means, account-based marketing, a little bit. I think there's some things you can do. Pinterest platform is not quite as good as Facebook on their advertising, but they're getting better at it. So might be some things that you can do with that to target some people specifically. You can go after interests. You can target people that are looking for certain types of things on Pinterest, and as well as going after locations, people that are located in certain areas. In fact, thanks, Juice, that was what I was going to talk about here. You can do some conversion pixels. So inside here, you can actually create a Pinterest tag that allows you to go out and get information based upon the people that are interacting with your stuff. So, and what happens with Pinterest too is when you have good visual content on your website and you take those and you pin those to Pinterest and then boost those pins out, that can help track back to your website. So pins off of your site is very, very good. And then you can track those conversions as they come through. I think a little bit more like Twitter on those universal tags. So I haven't used one specifically yet, but I think that's more of what you're looking at, are those kinds of things. So when you come in here to create a Pinterest tag, I'll show you this. You can come in here and you can name the tag, basically. So you come in, put a name of the tag in, it'll generate you the code, basically, and it will stick it right here. So you get your code. And then what happens is you can then add the actions that you want to track. So this will let you get more specific on what kinds of things you want to do. Add to carts, leads, checkouts, did they watch a video, did they visit your page? So I guess this is actually, they've updated this a little bit. This is a bit more like the Facebook pixels. So I think this is more the JS pixels, is more the thing that you want to look for on that. So especially if you've got your website verified with your Pinterest page, that'll help so that you can target those people. So there's tons of targeting that you can do on Pinterest. Those are very, very important. So I think they do have pixel sync as well. So go check out your ads.pinterest.com and check those out and look around at those. I'd love to hear your thoughts as you go in there and look around and try some ads and see what you think. So let's talk just really quickly, go back to the overview here. We're going to talk about what's nice about this dashboard is right here at the top. It gives you a lot of good information to help you know what's going on with your ads. So you can jump in here, you can see your total impressions, you can see your engagements, people interacting with your stuff, conversions, track your conversions as well, and then see what you've spent. So I like that it's a quick high-level view of everything. And then down here, you can see that you get into the different types of ads. So it breaks it down a little bit more in there as far as what kind of ads you can run. So just really quickly, let's talk about the types of ads you can run on Pinterest. So there's awareness campaigns, that's the top one. I think it's real time on the reporting. I think it should come up all the time for you and just stay updated all the time. So on the awareness campaigns, this is where you're just encouraging people to become more aware of your business. You're promoting a pin, you're doing things to help people know that you have an account, that you are here, and that you can connect with people. So that's a really good one here to help build more awareness to your Pinterest page, get more people to come see you as well. You know, another great way to build awareness around your Pinterest page is cross promotion. So if you find good content on Pinterest, consider sharing that onto your other social media sites. So if let's say you come across a really good pin of an infographic or other things like that, then what you want to do is connect that information back in. And so you want to take that pin and you want to basically pin it to one of your boards, and then you go open up that pin to look at it and then copy the URL out of the browser. Then you can paste that into your post onto Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or other things like that. 4 hours delay. You know, it may be delayed, but I'm not 100% sure on if there is much of a delay. It should be pretty real time. There shouldn't be much of a delay on it. I know Facebook I don't think has that big of a delay either on their reporting of what they do. Now, maybe the Pixel sometimes reports a little bit slower than what you'd get if it's just promoting pins and things. But it should be pretty close to real time on those reporting. Yeah, I'd say Facebook's pretty fast on what they have as well. So campaign engagement is another one here, or an engagement campaign, sorry, I said that backwards. An engagement campaign is another one that you can do here. So what that is that is encouraging people to like and pin your pins. So that's what that's going to do basically. If you want to get certain pins promoted more, you want certain pins or get more interaction, comments on pins, other things to create dialogue, create conversation with people, then that would be a good one to get more engagement. Get people to interact with your pins, with the things that you're putting up there. So that's one that's good. Traffic campaigns. See if you can see that. Traffic campaigns is the next one that's down here. And I think it's CPM and CPC are the ones that it does. So CPM is cost per impressions. When you're running your ads, that's one way to look at it, is how much does it cost you to get in front of about 1,000 people. So cost per impressions can give you some ideas. If you just need to get in front of a lot of people, then cost per impressions is a good way to go to just see how expensive is it to get in front of a lot of people for your business. Cost per click, or CPC, is designed around, we only want to really pay for the people that are clicking to our website or clicking to the buy page or something like that, where you want to drive traffic somewhere on the internet, and so you want to encourage that behavior. So cost per click allows you to track what does it cost us to get someone to click on this ad or promoted pin and get them to go to our website. So those are two things you want to consider when you're doing your ads. The traffic campaigns is a main one about getting more traffic to your website. If you have a lot of visual content on your site, good images and things that people can pin, pictures of your products and services, those kinds of things, interesting stuff. Incorporate pictures into your blog posts. People can share those out as well, and it'll link them back to your blog posts. So those are always good to have. The Pinterest is really ideal for that visual content. Engagement is somewhat different on Pinterest than what you'd get on, say, Facebook or other sites. They are, just because there's more ways to engage and interact on the other sites like Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and so forth, Pinterest is about the image itself, and not so much connecting and sharing with specific people, but there's more about, there are ways of doing that, but the Pinterest overall is more about how do we get more people to see our visual content. So, and don't be surprised to encourage other types of pins. You don't have to necessarily promote pins just from your website, but other things that you have generated. If you've uploaded pins from an event or something and you want to encourage those pins out, you can do that as well. So maybe you have an event coming up, and so you create a really nice graphic for that event, and so you want to promote that as an image, and then you get to drive traffic back to your site. So do a traffic campaign to get people to see that image and then go, oh yes, I'd like to connect with this, I'd like to attend this event or learn more about it, click on it, go to the website where it directs back. So if you've never tried Pinterest or have been on there, you realize that when you upload an image, you can put a website that image is coming from, or that you can be directed to when you click on that image. So as you upload images, make sure you're putting your website or specific pages in your website that are good to have. If you have a blog on your website and you have an image that you put on that blog post that coincides with what that blog talks about, consider pinning that picture to Pinterest with a link back to the blog. That'll encourage more blog traffic back as well. So those are some extra tips to use Pinterest in generating more business for you and more traffic. Another one here, promoted app pin campaigns. So apps are huge, having mobile apps. If you do software development, there's a specific pin, a specific type of advertising, just to encourage app installs. It's crazy to think of how far we've come with mobile software and mobile apps. And what's amazing about it is there's so much of an opportunity to be seen that you're not having to just use the App Store to be seen. I mean, there's so many apps. There's millions of apps in the App Stores. iPhone, Apple has their App Store. Android has Google Play. I mean, there's millions and millions of apps in there. And so there's so much you can do inside the App Store to be seen. So what a lot of the social networks are doing is they're allowing for specific types of ads to encourage people to connect with them as well. So you don't have to necessarily just optimize for the App Store. Maybe you've got a demographic for a mobile app that you're building, like a game or something else, and you want to connect with people that way as well. So you can go to places like Pinterest or Facebook or Twitter and say, I want to encourage app installs. See, the unique thing about this is that they're on their phone most of the time when they're looking at these social sites. So it makes it a really natural fit for app developers to actually do some specific advertising, because you can target people who would most likely download your app from the App Store. But because you can't necessarily advertise a ton in the App Store, it's more about the reviews that you get and different things like that. So the App Store is not as good. Like, there's not a lot of SEO you can do in the App Store. You're really limited on that. To get your app to the top, it's number of reviews, number of downloads, those kinds of things will help your rankings in the App Store. But you can, if your apps, you've got lots of competitors that are higher, go to Pinterest, go to Facebook or Twitter and run ads specifically for app downloads and get them to come in. So there's some fun stuff you can do just with software development for mobile apps, that specific app types of advertising you can do. So those are some great things that you can do. They really only have the 4 campaigns. I know it's a little different from Facebook, just because Facebook has about 15 different ways that you can run ads, different types of goals and ways of connecting and reaching people. So, but definitely I would say Pinterest is well worth it. Now, what's interesting is down here, just below this section, you can see here that it talks about highest performing promoted pins, lowest performing promoted pins. So they give a little bit of extra analytics in here to help you compare which pins are doing better than other pins. That can give you some instant feedback on which campaigns are working and which ones need to be tweaked or turned off or whatever. Because now you can dig in and find out and compare what's going on. Are certain posts or certain pins doing better than others, and why? What's going on with that? And then, of course, there's a couple of PDF downloads that they put in here as well for you, how to make great pins, and of course a best practices guide as well. So if you have any other questions, you can go into there and see those. If you have any other questions about advertising on Pinterest, let us know. We appreciate all the comments and feedback and things that everybody's been given. So these are really effective ways to track what's going on your Pinterest account. So, and realize too that even though Pinterest has about 85% female, there's still 15% male, and you can do some gender targeting as well in there. In fact, let me see if I can pull that up to show some of those targeting things. Oh, maybe it's not going to let me do it. Okay. So if we come in and let's say we're just going to do a build brand awareness, I'm going to put a test name in here and put the budget. It's asking for a lifetime budget. So you want to be, that's the other thing with advertising, is be sure you know your budget. How much total you want to spend, whether you've programmed it for a lifetime budget or a daily budget. This is one way that you can totally ruin yourself financially by not paying attention to when you're setting your budget in the ad network, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, it doesn't matter. If you don't realize that you set up, oh, we only want to spend $100. Okay, so set that up as a lifetime budget, so as soon as it's done, it's done. If you need to set dates in there to limit it, you can as well, to say, okay, I only want it to run for this week or the next 2 weeks or whatever. So set those times as well. It's unless you're doing a very long-term campaign, it's best to keep those campaigns shorter, just so that you have an end date to them. That way you don't accidentally overdo your budget. Especially watch out if you're doing lifetime versus daily budget. Because if you think, oh yeah, I can only spend $100, so I'm going to put $100 in here, don't realize that's a daily budget, it will charge you $100 every day, unless it's converted back to a lifetime budget, so it'll turn off after $100 total, or you have a deadline where at a certain date and time the ad ends. So just be careful with that, double check that before you submit the ad and get it all set up and running, because you can easily ruin your budget that way. So when you get into the ad portion, let me scroll up here, there's interests. You can jump in and track for interests. You can then jump in and track for the keywords as well. So there's, oh, it scrolled up on me, sorry guys. So you can pick different interests. What are people interested in? What types of topics, what types of things are they dealing with? and you can get in here and do some specifics and get really detailed on there as well. Keywords. So this is really interesting. Keywords makes a difference as well. You can, if you have a list of key terms that people are searching for, or that you want to have not necessarily ranked for, but you want to show up for certain terms. If somebody goes in and does a search on Pinterest, you can upload those right into here and put those keywords in here for you. Locations, you can target locations, you can target languages, you can target genders. There's devices. If you know, and so a big key to online marketing is understanding your customer. The more you know about your customer, the more you can target and get really specific on how to go after that type of a person. If you just happen to know that all of your followers or the majority of your customers use an Android device or use an iPhone, then you can adjust the ad to only hit those types of users. So, you know, maybe you have your product or service is only good for a certain type of audience and they tend to use a certain type of device. Well, then you can go after them. So there's different ways of targeting to really be specific on there. So take the time to be specific with your marketing. It might sound like, oh, I want to leave it general to reach the biggest number of people I can. The reality is the bigger that number is, the harder it is to reach all of those people. You're going to burn your budget fast and you might not get a big return. So the more you can refine it to just that group that you want to hit, even if it's a small group, that's okay. But the more you refine it, the more likely it is you're going to get qualified leads and actually generate business off of these ads. So be very specific in what you're looking for as far as who do you want to have respond to that, or who do you want to have this ad be seen by. That'll help tremendously. Well, thanks everybody for joining us today for another episode of Smart TV. We really appreciate everybody being on with us. Please subscribe on YouTube as well. We have all of our past episodes. We've been running, actually we're 11 months. This is month 12, and so we are we're just about to complete our first full year of doing live Smart TV episodes. So go check out all of our videos. They're on YouTube. You can subscribe, get the latest updates from us on online marketing to help grow your business. If you have questions, always feel free to reach out to us on social media. We love helping businesses with their online marketing, making sure it's effective and working properly. So SMRT TV is our hashtag. Feel free to respond back, ask us questions, or just go to our social sites and ask us there as well. Thanks everybody for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you next week